a dit Jeff, ya ça, ya ma fait et fakoi, ya coco, oh, que nous pouvons manger. Quand il va se le cabala magala, avec ma coromanco. Africa, 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 eh. Coronara, vous le savez, ma belle, avec ma coromanco. Africa, 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 eh. Coronara, vous le savez, ma belle, avec ma coromanco. Africa, 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 eh. Africa, 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 oh, Africa, eh. Africa, eh. Oh, Africa, oh, yeah, oh, 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 oh. Africa, 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 eh. Africa, 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 oh, Africa, eh. Africa, eh. Oh, Africa, oh, yeah, oh, 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 oh. Africa, 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 eh.
I had to give a history of this country, and the history is history. History has chapters, painful chapters, wonderful chapters, but it is history. When I said, when Jan van Riebeeck landed in the Western Cape, our problems began, is a historic fact. Now, I always avoid giving the details of the history, but it's not necessary. When he landed, there were residents here, in this very city, who were established here. The Cohen son. They were living here, and they welcomed him warmly. Somewhere, somehow, a tension began, and there were wars that were fought. They were removed here forcefully from their area. Removed. And some of them went deep into the country, north, south, east. And the wars began because after the population arriving in South Africa grew. It is written down, it's not me concocting it. I didn't write that. We are not counting other small wars. There was a great track from here when there was a quarrel between the Afrikaners and the British. As a history of this country, there was an establishment of 4 republics, 2 belonging to the British, 2 belonging to the Afrikaners. When all of this was done, the blacks were not consulted, even the establishment of the republics.
Is former President Jacob Zuma the true liberator of black South Africans? If that is so, from whom Jacob Zuma is going to liberate black South Africans, and how is he going to liberate these black South Africans? Let us talk about it. But before that, allow me to welcome you all to our channel. Welcome back to another video. This is a better place where we get to discuss Pan-African matters that concern Africans. Well, as I just asked you the question, is Jacob Zuma the true liberator of black South Africans? Guys, in order for us to understand this question very well, I'm inviting you to have listened first to former President Jacob Zuma as he get to address the medias. He passed a very strong message which no one is talking about it. And all these white monopolitical medias, they're not discussing it because they know that the men have said something which is very capital, and they want to distract people of South Africa so that they should not understand the message behind all this. So I'm asking you to pay more attention to what was the message behind this press conference as the former President Jacob Zuma was addressing the media. Then I'll be back with more analysis.
Mkondo wesizwe is the final answer of the problems of our country. The final answer. You might, if you are a funny person, try to find reasons why it is not so, but will not find, because it is absolutely correct for us as oppressed people to stand up and liberate ourselves. If we don't do so, we'll be a funny kind of a nation that praises oppression, either indirectly or directly. I can't understand, and I will never understand, that a South African who was here before the arrival of people from Europe, the country was taken, many people were killed in the wars, finally the population was driven to the corners, and the whole world of this country was taken, and everybody has everything. Those who came, there's not a single one who has nothing, except the indigenous people. Now, if we are an indigenous people, you want to criticize people who are saying, let us bring our country back. Sure, there's something grossly wrong with us. That's why I believe that with time, we will be together. We will be together. If as a journalist, I would be asking very wonderful questions. How did you come to this idea to help us because we are in trouble? Absolutely. I would ask that question. Just let us know. Just take us with you so that we can quickly correct the wrongs. I wouldn't be saying, Mr. Zuma, why did you do this? Ask a question which seems to be opposite of what we need to do. And I'm telling the truth. One day when you are old like me, I'm still young though, you will say, that young man was right. What had happened to us? Why did we ask questions which were wanting to, reduce the correct thing that some of our people were doing? Let me not say much because I know you love listening to me. Because I did not want to speak, but somebody said, man, talk please. Just make them happy. Just say something. No, one of the points that I wanted to make is that the interpretation of the comrade who's sitting here, that I'm standing next to, this one, you don't know. There are politicians and politicians. This comrade I've known from when he was very young in the ANC Youth League. That's when I picked him up that he is a real politician. He has politics which I defy as scientific politics. this young man. He's a young man to me. Don't worry that he's big than me and all. Honest politician. Honest. Clear politically. He takes decisions at the right time for good reasons. And I'm happy that today he told what you all did not know. That when I started, after taking a decision to fight the African National Congress underground, and I had an opportunity to say we needed to come to correct politics about our country and our operations or whatever. I took a decision to meet all political parties, black political parties, to talk to them about the destiny of a black person in South Africa. Because whatever we're doing, having our parties, different parties, etc., we're all missing the point that we are oppressed, all of us as blacks. No matter how much we did not understand, we're trying to fight among ourselves, we're missing the point. Because the white population took a decision to take us out of everything in South Africa. We, all of us, not a single one, no matter how you could love them. It is a fact. The British lead the debate with the Afrikaners that black people must never allowed to have rights in this country. They must have no right to vote or to be voted for. They persuaded the Afrikaners after the Anglo-Boer War, and finally they agreed. We must never have these at our level. Now you might deny it if you want to. Angineka amanzi lapha ngidala manje. Ufuna ngihlale ngiphuza amanzi kancane. Ngenzela ukuthi ngikhulumise kwenja nami. Ngikwetize. Whether we like it or not, it is a fact. It is a fact. You must know. There was a conspiracy against black people not to participate in their country, in running of the country, in being voted for or to vote. It is a fact. It was a discussion or a meeting which was at, what is this place near Johannesburg? Vereeniging. They were having a discussion to bring peace and harmony in this country after the Anglo-Boer War. The decision was taken. Many of you don't know. That's when we made not to vote, not to participate in the running of the country and everything. It's a serious matter. It's not a small matter. It's an old matter, but it's a very new matter. It affects us now. It affected us then. It still affects us now. That's the reason why when we said we are coming to peace in our country, many things have been put in laws, in practice, in behavior, in finances, in the economy. You will never come out. It's a serious matter. it is a serious matter. Because some of us are sitting here working for organizations that give news, and we are being diverted to discuss all other things. If there is a person like my brother here, there is no happiness to say, thanks God, the good people are coming together. Ufunan, what do you want? Kulava, what do you want? You make the news about us being ourselves. We make news about ourselves sent by big fellows with money behind to say, we'll pay you, go and deal with them. That's what it is, if I tell the truth. There's been no wonderful question here that says, man, how did you come to this good idea that the black people must come together and be united like others? Instead of asking that question, why have you joined this one or not that one? Is it not true? It is. Fumani. Tanin siyavuma. Okay, let me leave this hard stuff. Just to tell you, somebody asked a question about Zuma being chased away from the ANC, blah, 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 blah. You said, we are not going to leave the ANC. You will die in the ANC. But we are forming another organization. Only my brother here understood that very well. Only. The reason why I said I will never leave the ANC is because I love history. I know history. The ANC was established by our ancestors. The traditional leaders, our pastors were black, our intellectuals, to defend the black person who was being suppressed by the whites. And they knew what they were doing. And it was the organization of all of us. They were uniting us because prior to that, the unity was not at that level. It was all these traditional leaders were in their areas, so to speak. But they realized that the black person is being taken out of his own country whilst living in his own country. And it was important for us to do so. And if we have to die for it, we must. And many have died for it, fighting for our liberation. I know that that situation is always made to be a very polite thing. So that is not a small thing. Many people died, many people stayed in prison, many were killed for fighting for their rights, tortured to death. Others were thrown to the sea. You never know, never find them again. Can only be a funny nation that says, okay, kwenzeka, kwenzeka. You don't say, let us stand and liberate ourselves. Precisely because that organization was established by those people. Some of us will respect that organization which was established by our ancestors. Because it was correct, it was true, it was defending the nation. Now, if then the leaders of that organization at a given time turn away from what was given to all of us, they are actually undermining our ancestors who were correct and undermining the organization itself, which is
our tool to liberate ourselves. And some of us were said, I'm leaving the ANC because it has gone out of the way. It's no longer the ANC we know. This is the Ramaphosa ANC. And we said it, and we'll continue saying it. They've deviated, they've moved out of the way. But this organization had made the struggle in South Africa to be known throughout the world. There are many things that they did. They sacrificed, they died. They followed from the organizations that were called or whatever in the past. Let me not mention them. As me, with a very sore heart, saying I'm not going to vote for the ANC, I want you to understand this. Why I said, much as I will vote for Mkhonto Wesizwe, but I will never leave the ANC as a member. I will die the ANC. I was respecting our ancestors who established the ANC. You cannot take the history of struggle, the history of struggle of the ANC, run away from it when we have sacrificed it. Some of us served years in prison, went to exile. It was not a nice thing. It was not playing soccer. It was a struggle. And if people were changing this organization, giving it to the whites, the oppressors, they are taking even the history to back to the oppressors. And I was saying I will fight for that. Even if I'm in the MK, I will fight to get the history of the ANC here to us who fought for this liberation. So I don't want people to misunderstand, because I did not say all of this. I was just making the point historically that I belong to this organization. But when it was still the organization that was established by our ancestors. This one, which now looks funny, led by somebody else, I'm not going to leave that one. This one I'm leaving, I'm not going to vote for. Clear, 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 clear. I don't want one day, why in Zuma? One day, when I'm an old man, because now I'm very young. I'm very young now. I will tell people, I will tell the citizens of this country that you sold out by creating other organizations, helping the enemy to disperse us so that we don't have a concrete majority. Because that's what is done with these little parties that we've been establishing, all of us. We must come to a point where we realize the reality. And I'm telling you, this comrade will come to the books of history. He had done something that many would not do, because his politics is scientific. And that's why even his action has become a big issue, because it is a scientific issue, proper scientific, to say we are closer to our liberation. Let us join together to reach there so that we can have this country in peace with everybody, including the whites, everybody who's here. Because for now, this country, there is no peace, because black people are like, I don't know how you could describe them. We've got cities. In the city, there is what is called, what is this last forum? Township. Why there is a city and a township? Why? Have you asked that question? Why there's no city only? There's a city and a township. Should we say fine to stay in the township where at times the toilets are not correct, every other thing? Until when? Coming with Umkhonto wesizwe, we are coming with a solution for this country forever, so that there will be peace, there will be harmony, there will be everything. If you don't want it, fine. We'll help you, we'll take you once we make it. That's why the issue of the black political parties must come together to be one. Because the whites are not there together. They've been consolidating in what is called, what is this party, Abu? Huh? DA. DA. If you count it, there are very few. There are few. There is a serious period coming, which we want to deal with peacefully, fortunately. That's why when we're moving up and down, we're saying we want to have 2/3 majority. Because we want this to come peacefully, no longer through the barrel of the gun. Peacefully. We must come to our senses, realize that we cannot live like this. A city, and what? Township, a rural area, urban. Why? Where in the rural areas where we stay is not a single hospital. All hospital in the cities. I don't want to be emotional. I was just telling you that what we are all about is about us bringing this country where it is supposed to be for all its citizens, black and white. We are hating no. And one day I will invite you to Ngandla, the journalists, so that I will try to help you in your job, to quicken this thing we are talking about. Agreed? Wonderful. Sobamem panagit. Sobamem one day for Sunday. But we like to thank you for being with us today and the questions we have asked. And as you realized, we are serious, as we have been serious historically, to correct the wrongs. We believe there's a lot of wrongs. We can't sit and be happy when our children are finished by liquor and everything, and think that that is correct. And to sit in the country as if everything is fine. It can't be. The youth is the citizens of tomorrow. And it is our duty, it's our duty to ensure that we have the future of our young people who will be in charge of this country and making life wonderful. We can't. If we sit, no. I mean, people are killed every other day. We've got police, we've got everything, but people are continuing to be killed. They are employed every other year. We have now become so soft to wrong things. We must stop that. That's what we must do. And we are going to stop it. We are going to stop it. All we need is to be in charge of this country. You will see. What we tell you will happen. You will walk in the dark without fearing anybody. Because criminals are going to be put away. uyobukwazi umkhonto. Ngifuna ukuthi you must not take us as if we are jokes, we are just stand up and party nje. No. We are correcting the situation of our country. Fortunately, we know why our country was singled out to be colonizer, to be colonized. Colonize. Yeah. Now we can't look aside as if we don't know what happened. And we as citizens who don't want to correct that. We think we must live like this all the time. I think it's our time. Everyone who visited us must feel at home. We will never chase anyone away. But we say there must be equality. If you went to those who have money, the banks, and they asked to establish a business, after questioning you a lot, they would tell you, sorry, we can't help you. That's what happens. So that you remain a semi-slave. But if I was white and went there and said, I want to do a business, after questioning, they said, we have got the money you want. In other words, there is lack of equality, treating one another. And I think enough is enough. Enough is enough. The time has come. I want you to look at MK as a solution to the problems of this country. And it is.
All right, guys. You just finished watching the full speech of former President Jacob Zuma, who's now the current president of the MK party. Guys, the message behind this press conference that Jacob Zuma have to give, this should have been something which supposed to be a highlight in South Africa politics. This should have been a press conference which is supposed to be in the mouth of each and every black South Africans who want the best for South Africa. But unfortunately, people seem to forget so quick. Some are not even aware if Jacob Zuma has spoken. Some are not even aware that Jacob Zuma had speak about these kind of things. Why? Because it is the system which the oppressors they have put on place in order for this kind of message to not go viral, in order for them to, for people of South Africa to not pay attention to what is happening, especially to any kind of activities which will allow South Africans to free themselves and have a true freedom which they deserve to have as a black South Africans. Their media, they're not talking about it. They're hiding about all this. They don't want even anyone to talk about it. They did not even try even to show it in their highlights through their news hours. They did not want anything to do with it. You know why? Because they know very well that them passing this kind of message to black South Africans, it is kind of like they are encouraging these people to go ahead and start supporting Jacob Zuma. It is kind of like they are exposing themselves already, because whatsoever Jacob Zuma is bringing up as a revelation of what have took place in this country, it is something that maybe the new generations, they are not aware of, or maybe some they are aware of about it, but they never really put it to their attentions in order for them to understand that no, this is how things are supposed to be done, but we never respect the whole entire process. So that's the reason why they will never gonna campaign about such thing. Now, here's a very easy example. Imagine if Jacob Zuma had said something which was against them, or if it was something which will make them use it against Jacob Zuma. Let's say, for example, Jacob Zuma maybe said something that they know, okay, this is gonna benefit them in one way or other way. I'm telling you, these same people, they would have done everything in their power to make Jacob Zuma look like a bad person, to take whatsoever Jacob Zuma will have said and use it against him. That's how they've been doing it. Here's a very easy example. Let's take the example of Julius Malema, which we are all familiar with. You guys do still remember on the 10th anniversary of the EFF inside the Soweto Soccer City Stadium. You heard Julius Malema. He spoke about a couple of things, a lot of things concerning South Africa politics, concerning Africa politics, concerning international politics. He even called for peace for some countries to come forward and live at peace. These people on that day, I was there myself inside the stadium. They left the whole entire speech. Do you know where or what they will end up focusing on? They had to go and focus on the part where Julius Malema spoke, sing the song of Kill the Boer, Kiss the Boer, or Kill the Boer, whatever they call it. They took that part and they make it become their highlights in their newspapers, in their news channels. They start now making Julius Malema looking like a bad person, saying that no, he's a person who's calling violence against the minorities, white who lives in South Africa. And we were all shocked because the entire speech of Julius Malema, it was about like 2 hours. But they left everything, they just leave everything without commenting about it. The only things they end up commenting about it and trying to change everything around, it was only when Julius Malema had finished his entire speech and they start singing that revolutionary song, then that becomes a problem for them. You guys even saw Julius Malema, who had to ask even question that, is it only about their life? Is it only them who their lives are more important than black South Africans? And you had Julius Malema raising up the point of saying that the only problem or the only fight you usually have with these people is when you have to see there is not that equality in everything. In the video that I just played for you, you heard former President Jacob Zuma giving an example, saying that you go to the bank, you apply for a loan or for something, you have some projects or business ideas, you go there, obviously they'll have to ask you, what do you want this money for, what do you want to do it for, what are we going to invest it in it. They'll ask you all those kind of questions, which are very hard questions. Any small mistake, you are disqualified. But unfortunately, the disqualifications which we get to see through this bank system, they are more different to the one we are seeing with black South Africans. Well, other people of other colors, once they go there, they just look their color complexion. They don't even need to ask them certain questions. They'll approve whether it is a credit, whether it's a loan, whatever it is. They'll approve it to them more easily. But when a black South African goes with this kind of beautiful ideas or project they have in their mind, and they have to engage in a conversation with these people, they don't consider them. They don't allow them or to give them that loan. Why? Because there is not that equality. Because the oppressors of this country, they still want to control everything. Because they want to be the one who are in charge of financially and the economy of this country. Here's another very easy example, which I know very well. Look around, you guys will see people building and then building some new buildings, renovating different manufacturers, or you can even see some flats which are being built here and then each and every day. But the question here, guys, is that these people who are behind all this, most of them are people of colors. And these people, they are not investing their own money. They have to go to the bank and get a loan from the bank. And these people of colors, they get this easy access to all these monies that they have to borrow from the banks. But when it comes to black South Africans, go and look all these construction companies that you see around. Few, we're talking about 500 out of 100% who can be qualified. And these people, they have to have that what we call a history, which that which prove or shows that these people, they've been there for so many years. And that's what these people have been doing. Like you have to be there like for so many years in order for them to even trust you, in order for them to feel like, okay, we can work with you. So they are busy telling us about how minority they are in South Africa, right? But when it comes to economies, when it comes to some improvement, whether it is from the tenders from the government or whatsoever, you see that they're the one who want to control everything. So South Africans who are supposed to be the majority, whether it is in the terms of getting tenders, whether it is in the terms of getting loan to the banks, when it comes to different methods that we all deserve to have the same treatment, unfortunately it does not apply to black South Africans. Why? Because these people, they want to make sure that yes, we might be minority, but when it comes to financially and the economy stuff and everything, we should have been the majority, and they are trying to impose that on South Africans, and that's where the problems lays for most of these politicians, such as Julius Malema, Jacob Zuma, and so on and so on, because it does not make sense. Look the lifestyle that we are living in South Africa. There are some parts in this country whereby if you have just to take your drone and try to zoom up through your camera, you will see the areas where it's well written that this for poor South Africans and this for rich South Africans. Now you ask yourself, these rich people in South Africa, how many hands do they have in order for them to be living this luxury life? And these so-called poor South Africans, how many hands do they lack on their bodies in order for them to live this kind of life? So you will tell that actually the oppressors, they have implanted everything in order for them to continue benefiting from South African minerals, from them continue to benefiting from South Africans or black South Africans who supposed to be deserving to be at a certain level of life standards, and they are failing to do so. So they are busy squeezing them. I believe you all have once came across a certain kind of videos or pictures where they will show you how South African salaries is being divided out there. We are living our life on credits that, you know, they just make sure that you have to go. For an example, you say that, okay, I'm working for this so-called company, my salary is maybe for example, I'm just giving you an example, 5,000. Okay, 5,000. Okay, in that 5,000 you have to pay your rent, you have to pay school fees for your children, you have to pay your car, you have to pay, I don't know, whatever it is, maybe it could be a bond or something like that. So you see that once your money is in, look, for example, the date of today is not yet month end, but last weekend people got money. Last weekend people got salaries, right? People get paid. But go and check right now, you find that most of people, they are no longer having this money. Why? Because that money is already go back to the right owners. Yes, the oppressors, these so-called minorities of colors who believe that no, everything have to go back to them. So they will use you as a labor, as a black person, they use you as their labor, and at the end of the day, whatsoever peanut they put in your hands, they make sure that it must go back to them. And that is the entire system which we saw Jacob Zuma in this video trying to open the eyes of South Africans, trying to make them understand that no, this has nothing to do with the person called Jacob Zuma. I might have my wrongdoing, I'm not perfect, but this is something which the oppressors, the apartheid regime, they had managed to put on place. They had implanted this for so many years. And even their grandchildren now, they are continuing the same system. So they are continuing this system of continue to colonizing South African mentalities. Yes. Me, I like to talk about mentalities because I know who we are. I know how we behave. I know how we feel things. So it's a problem of mentality, and these people, they take advantage of our mentalities. They manage to start manipulating us, putting division among us, putting separations among us, fight among us, hatred among us. Whereby I will see my fellow South Africans having a small business, I don't support them. But if it is a one who sitting somewhere there, and then I'll go there, like I even try to become friends with them. There's nothing wrong to do that, by the way. But the problem is just The problem here actually is that the equality is what we are lacking. And we still have the mentality of not understanding exactly what do we deserve from all this. What can we take as a lesson from all this? And what do we need to do in order for us to avoid all these kind of dramas? The moment we'll open our eyes and understand exactly that, we deserve this, we're supposed to do things in these ways, I believe that moment things will be even more different. So, Jacob Zuma, whether we like him or not, whether we agree with him or not, but one thing we can't deny is that whatsoever he said in this press conference, it is nothing but the truth. Look the reality. Look around you. Pay attention to each and every activities that is taking place around you. You'll definitely agree with Jacob Zuma that black South Africans, we are not where we're supposed to be. Things are not working properly. And it seems like this country is being controlled by the so-called minority. They are the one who get to have a last word to say. Proof to that. Well, if you've been watching me time to time, you'll definitely agree with me on this one. When this so-called government of national unity was announced, I had said to you that the people who benefit from all this are people from DA. When I start speaking about this, all these things, most of these medias or whether politicians, they were nowhere to be found. They were still actually trying to position themselves to see which side they want to go. Do they want to go with this government of national unity, or are they going to stay the side of people of South Africa? But me, I have seen it already. Why? Because I did even demonstrate it. I gave you guys the example of DA. I said, look what DA they have done. Everything they predicted or the wishes is what is happening here right now. DA, they knew very well that no, they will never gonna take power back in this country. That one, they know it for sure, and they have made peace with it. They know for sure that there is no way South Africans will go and vote back, because in the mentality of South Africans, voting for DA is like voting for the apartheid regime to come back in power. That one, they already make peace with it. They know very well, okay, anytime soon we're not going to get power in this country. But one thing we can do for our own good, to protect our own interest, is for us to be among the government. We should be among the people who rule, or the people who have the last word to say. And by doing so, it will position us to at least to strengthen up our roots everywhere, and then start having a last word to say on certain things. How can we do that? Well, we need to fight the ANC. We need to fight the ANC by all means to make sure that the ANC, they should not get the majority in the parliament. Once they don't have the majority in the parliament, they'll be left without no choice than to have a coalition. And since we always sit in number 2 to each and every election that has been taking place in South Africa, well, that's when we'll walk in, and then we'll try to impose ourselves inside the government. And they did so. They did inject themselves inside the government. Now, on the other side, remember what John Steenhuisen, the leader of the DA, had said. He had declared an open war against Julius Malema with the EFF.
And today, I publicly declare Julius Malema's EFF to be political enemy number 1 of the Democratic Alliance. And I commit the DA to fight back against the EFF at every turn, with the ultimate aim of defeating the doomsday coalition that could seal South Africa's fate next year. This is no longer about politics, Democrats. It's about the survival of democracy and the survival of South Africa. Make no mistake, the EFF is its enemy. The EFF Doomsday Coalition will expropriate property without compensation and abolish private property rights. The EFF Doomsday Coalition will nationalize and destroy foreign banks, investments, mines, and other investments in the country. Let me tell you, EFF Doomsday will make the collapse of Zimbabwe look like a dress rehearsal. And it will leave all South Africans, black, colored, white and Indian, completely destitute and abandoned. Throughout this period of this leadership campaign, I have reflected deeply upon the risk of the EFF coming to power.
He says so. That was his words and not mine. And he went far. The moment when MK was announced to participate in this previous election which took place in South Africa, he went far by saying that, okay, now this time I think we are going also to fight the MK. So MK, EFF, they're the same things. They combine them together. They want to destroy them. Why? Because they know that the ANC, according to them, they're more easy to cooperate with than these two other political parties because of their political party policies. Look the policies of the EFF. Look to the one of the MK. You see that these are twin brothers. They have the same purpose. They are fighting for the true liberation of black South Africans and the true liberation of the economic freedom fighters. So they've been doing this, and they know that once these people get to gain the power through the economic, we are doomed. And we won't be able to survive anymore because they will be controlling us. So they rather prefer to work with the ANC, which is more understandable to them than these other radical two political parties such as the MK party and the EFF of Julius Malema. So these people, they did that, they fought that, and they even said that we're not going to allow the ANC to go to coalition with this other political party. What did they do? They end up now using again our fellow brothers to put even more divisions among black people so that we should not have that unity, so that we should not sit down and have a proper conversation as a brothers, like, okay, what can we do in order for us to get our true independence, in order for us to liberate ourselves from our former colonials? Instead of black South Africans to sit down and have this kind of conversations, you guys, you also how this one will go in their corner, they will say whatever they want to say, this one will go in their corner, they also have to say what they have to say. That is politics for you. We're not surprised about all that. But guys, again, so they did all these things, they succeeded with their mission, and that happens today. MK, EFF, they're not in this GNU. DA, they succeed to put the ANC lose their majority in the parliament, and then they come in. Now look at them now. They're the ones who are benefiting the most. By the time this mandate get to finish, I don't know what will happen, but we should just be ready to expect anything that can come up. So the point that we should note from all this is that, like Jacob Zuma or not, through this message, through this video that I play for you guys, you'll understand that the man is trying to open up the eyes of black South Africans in order for them to understand that where we are is not where we're supposed to be at first. And the things that are happening so far is not fair. Why till today, in 21st centuries, we still don't have that equalities when it comes to doing things, even the way of treating one another? Why we still don't have that? Of course, here we are not referring to all people of colors. There are some people who are more friendly. Some of us, we have a lot of friends who treat you in the same way, like, you know, as much they're treating each other with same due respect, who sees you in the same way. We have those kind of people. Yes, we chill with them around, we hang around with them. But there are those ones who still think that, no, look, we have to do this, we have to do that. No, we have to be like this because these people, they used to be our slaves. So we can't just give them everything like that. Them, they must be this way. They must be our gardeners. They must be our house workers. They must be like this. You know, those kind of things. No, man. So I think the message behind Jacob Zuma message is that black South Africans should understand that it's about time to start now liberating themselves from all these oppressors, from all this system that the former colonial they have put on place to destroy them. Black South Africans should start developing their mind to understand how things are supposed to be done, to understand that, no, we need to be treated in the same way. We need to be seen in the same way. We need to have a consideration of one another in the same way as much we want people to see us out there. Of course, that is the message which Jacob Zuma try to pass beyond this, because it's like maybe some other South Africans seem to forget the history, but you can't delete the history. The history is still there. You heard Jacob Zuma saying that, how do you find it possible or easy for someone who came into your house, finding you sitting in your house, a place which you occupied by yourself, which you believe that you are the owner? This person, they come in, they're throwing you out, and the next is now they're telling you how to do things according to their own way of viewing things. That is the point Jacob Zuma was trying to make here. Because when, for example, he's saying that, no, these people, they came and find us here. Is he lying? No. Is he making this up? No, I don't think so. That is the history we all know. We all have place. It's not like because maybe I'm in Europe and then the next thing I feel that, no, Europe now belongs to me, or I can just do whatever I want to do because I'm in Europe. No. He's just reminding that, no, look, I mean, we have observed too much. We have observed too much. We have given these people easy access to a lot of things. You guys recently were busy talking here about the Zuma, blah, 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 blah. Are you guys aware that there is a British man, a white guy, who came in South Africa to open a political party? Oh, yes, a white man. Just because he's in South Africa, he's been living in South Africa for a couple of years, because of his color skin, he opened up a new political party. Now, the same question I'm putting to you is that, do you see this happening in the UK, whereby a black South African can go over there and open a political party? Do you think they will even hear him or her out? I don't think so, because they'll just look the skin color. The first question they'll ask you, where are you from? Oh no, I'm from South Africa. Or maybe I was born here and my parents are original from South Africa. They'll disqualify you regardless of how good you are at what you are planning to do. They'll disqualify you. They're not going to allow you. Proof to that, look at them even through their elections. They are busy debating. Oh no, you are just an immigrant. No, you just came here. You blah, 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 blah. Why? Because of the skin color that you are having. So why here in South Africa it has to be that easy that anyone can just come and do as they pleases? So there's a problem there. And as I said, this is a problem of mentality. We need to develop our mentality. We need to talk to our brain and listen to our brain as well, in order for us to stop this kind of nonsense. A person coming all the way from British, in South Africa, maybe because they live in South Africa 5-10 years, the next thing is now they are opening a political party, which is not allowed, by the way. It is not allowed. But these ones, no one is talking about it. Everyone is quiet about it. If it was about Zuma and what at this time, everyone they are talking about it. That's a problem of mentality. So we rather hurt each other because of our own skin color. We destroy each other. But when it comes to other people's colors, skin colors, we kind of like having that kind of, should I say, a complex, like that complex, like, okay, let me treat this one good because of this and that. That's where Jacob Zuma, he was trying to say that we need to start having equality among ourselves. Black, white, Indian, colored, whoever color you are, whichever race you are, you must just know that we are all equal, whether it's in the terms of law, whether it's in the terms of respecting each other. Everything should be done accordingly, because that is how things are supposed to be. Now, it is up to you for you to understand. Jacob Zuma is just kind of like a messenger, I think he's too old and anything can happen to him anytime from now. But at least he just want to remind black South Africans that, no, look, this is something that you guys are supposed to be. So you need to wake up, you need to understand. And guys, you must know, people such as Jacob Zuma, there are people that the oppressors like to eliminate physically or not. And we need to protect such kind of a person. we need to pay attention to his message. What is good, and we don't need to ignore it. I mean, but we have at least to accept and try to give it all our best support in order for us to stand up again and be a powerful nation around the world. I think that's the most important things at least we can do. Okay, and every African around the world should try to pay attention to this kind of message. This kind of things that Jacob Zuma just revealed here, it concerns each and every Africans out there. It concerns each and everyone out there. Because these are the facts that our forefathers went through. Yes, they went through all this. And it's about time we start doing things differently. It's about time we start seeing people in different ways. Especially Black South Africans, they deserve much better after whatsoever they've been through. So guys, I think that is the message we want also to discuss with you, because I think that it was very important we show this. I see the whole entire media, they were quiet about it. But Jacob Zuma spoke about something. He made some revelations. He even tried to educate the journalists on how to do their jobs. He said that, no, I know people, they send you guys here. But you can't come and ask me some stupid questions here and that when you're supposed to be knowing about this. So he even told the journalists that, no, look, I think I'm going to organize time whereby I'll put all of you down and try to educate you, try to tell you exactly why are we here. Why is it that some South Africans in the rural areas, they are living in a miserable life where there's not even an hospital. Hospital have to be found only in suburb. Why? What was it that's making the life of South Africans who live in those small village much worse to the one that lives in towns? So he told the journalists that, and there's supposed to be it's supposed to be something which the journalists, they should have taken it and make it as their highlights. That no, former president, he had promised us going to do this and that, but no one is talking about it. Why? Because they are all captured. They are all surviving under the yellow envelope. And us at Coolbus TV, as Pan-African platforms, we feel like we can't keep quiet about it. We can't depend on them because we don't depend on their brown envelope. Okay? So we feel like we should come here, sit down, have conversation with you, try to make you understand exactly what the former President Jacob Zuma was trying to say in his speech as was addressing the media. Yeah, we need to make you understand exactly what is the message behind all this. Jacob Zuma is trying to pass a message to the youth of South Africans. Jacob Zuma is trying to pass a message to the Black South Africans in order for them to assume their responsibility and be in charge of everything. But why this kind of message not trending out there? Why no one is talking about it? So us, we feel like, no, we can't keep about it because this is the Pan-African platforms. We are coming to talk about it so that our fellow brothers, our fellow Africans all over around the world, especially our fellow South African, Black South Africans, should be aware about this kind of message. And at least they will figure out on how to do about the rest of things that they will have to do. So, thank you so much for taking your time to listen to us and to listen to also what we have to say to you in this video. But do us a favor before you leave, make sure that you give us your thumbs up. We'll really do appreciate that, okay? So if you find something beneficial in this video and you would like to hear from us in our next video, it's very simple. You just have to subscribe to the channel right now so that whenever we're live, you will be able to join this big family of Coolbus TV. So we really do appreciate your presence once more, and we are looking forward to see you in our next video. That will be all for tonight. But for now, continue to be yourself, be good, be kind, have respect for everyone. In order for you to be respected, may God bless you all. I'll see you again very soon in our next video. Ciao, ciao.
kabala magala